if I hear one more person tell me how excited they are about the crisp air outside, I will decapitate them. Mortal Kombat style. I am not happy about this.
About the weather?
About the weather.
Can I ask why?
Because it's cold. It should be warm all the time. I don't get it. Yeah. What is this shit?
Well, you see, when the
don't explain to me
seasons,
the Earth's rotation. What are we talking about?
Contract of sale, negotiating. We're continuing our negotiating series. How to negotiate a contract of sale,
which is how you're going to purchase your home, right? The paperwork to purchase your house.
From the buyer side today.
Just from the buyer side. Tomorrow we'll touch on the seller side.
Correct.
So, Mark, you talk most because you do mostly buyers.
I do mostly buyers.
I'll chime in when you're wrong.
I'm sure you're going to get a lot of work.
Let's go.
So it makes me nervous when I know that you're actually paying attention.
You're on the hot seat.
We talked about yesterday your buyer's agreement, your contract between you as the buyer and your agent. This is the actual contract between you as the buyer and the seller to purchase their home.
That's right.
So there are a lot more things in here that you need to pay attention to. And hopefully you've gone over all this with your agent prior to submitting the offer.
Hopefully you understand everything. If you haven't, you've asked all the questions you need to.
The main thing everybody always talks about is the purchase price. The purchase price is like the first thing you see on the contract other than your names and the address.
Right.
Purchase price.
Fee simple before purchase price.
Great.
Yeah.
What are we buying the house for is what most buyers, I think, care about.
How much are you going to pay?
Right. That is obviously negotiable. Your agent shouldn't lie to you and say, oh, like we'll just get it for really a lot less because I'm awesome. Like, it's probably not going to happen. Just like on the listing side, you should see comps, you should see market data that shows you why this house is worth X. And that will only help you negotiate further when you inevitably get a counter from the sellers because they will counter.
That's right.
They're always going to counter.
And I think, again, just like we talked about yesterday, it's also important to understand the current market.
Yeah.
Whatever market you're in. Like right now, honestly, there's not a lot of leeway for buyers.
There's not really
it's a seller's market. So, you basically are paying what the seller wants.
Yep.
So understanding that will cause a lot less frustration in the buying process.
Yeah.
Continue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a good addition. So while price is obviously important, there are other things that can supplement price and make your offer just as competitive. So
can I chime in one more second before
absolutely,
you move past
please.
price?
Yep.
So I also think because you're negotiating, that's where the standpoint we're coming from. When you are formulating a purchase price, it's also important for a buyer and their agent to have the lender's input as well.
Sure.
Okay. So know your limits and know what's more important to you, right? So there's so many things wrapped in price. You have your down payment, you have monthly payments. Know all these numbers. Is it like, we always tell people this, especially our first time buyers, right? What's more important? Do you have more money in your bank account
or a lower monthly payment
the day after closing or a lower monthly payment? You typically can't have both.
Right.
So know this, right? So know that the fluctuation between $10,000 is not that big of a difference in monthly payment.
Right.
But it could be huge coming out of your bank account. So just know that going in. Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, I think it would be a more analytical video, but we should
we could touch on that later.
We should, yeah. For the purpose of keeping this under 48 minutes, price is negotiable.
Right.
You should expect a counter regardless of what you offer, but because we are talking from a negotiating standpoint, it's probably not a wise idea to lowball because you expect a counter.
I don't think it's ever a wise idea to lowball. I mean, maybe there are very few situations where
what's more likely to happen is the seller's just going to tell you to go off.
Yeah, they're just saying no. They're done. Yeah.
Then you don't get any data from that.
Right.
So like Quincy said, I mean, if you're willing to lose a house over $5,000, the difference of like 300 to 305 or whatever it is, your agent should tell you look, that's really $30 a month.
Right.
When you break it down over 30 years, do you love this house for a cup of coffee every day?
Right.
Like that's
less than that.
Yeah. So you
bought a cup of coffee lately?
That's true.
Actually, you haven't because I always buy the coffee.
Well, $5.
Son, you order those frou things, the whipped cream and the drizzle.
That's a good point.
They're like $7.
So it's I mean you're talking about $2 a day ish, right? So think about it like that. So price, but then there's other things.
Yeah.
Settlement date. I ask the listing agent, hey, like what's important to you? Do you does your seller need to move fast? Do they have a house that's under contract? Do they need 60 days instead of 45? If the seller's like, look, we need 60 days because we don't settle on the house they're buying. Okay, awesome. Like that's data that I can use. Maybe we can offer a little bit lower because now we're giving them a longer settlement date. Another buyer might not be willing to do that.
Right.
So there's all sorts of stuff that you can throw in there. Home inspections. Are you going to inspect a home and ask the seller to repair it? Or are you going to buy it as is, meaning you can still do the inspection, but we're not going to ask for repairs? If you factor in a 1% rate is what you talked about.
Typically, yeah.
You know, we're talking about $3,000 there on the same $300,000 home. Right. Does that mean you can offer as is and $3,000 less? Right. Maybe, if you can convince them that you're saving them money. Right. So home inspection. What else? Like other...
Just general contingencies, right?
General stuff. Like, do you have a house to sell?
Right. Which is huge. Like, that's a huge contingency.
Right. Do I need to sell my house before I can buy your house? Right. If the answer is yes, and you have to, you probably aren't going to get a lower price. Like, it's just probably going to pay over list because it's riskier for the seller. They have to wait a little longer for you to sell your house. If you can... And I'm in a situation now with a client where they have a house to sell, but they don't have to.
Right.
I know their house is going to sell quickly because the market's ridiculous. Right. We're going in non-contingent. It's a stronger offer. And we've offered less because we are stronger buyers at this point.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Right.
But there's a lot to negotiate other than price.
Loan type.
FHA versus conventional versus VA. It is what it is. Like FHA is always going to be a little less appealing than conventional.
Right. We don't need to get into like the why right now, but it's just the way it is.
I mean, so to wrap up, like focus on price for sure, but would you rather have more cash in your pocket, which usually translates to a higher payment, but you can ask for, higher payment, but you can ask for money back, but you save the cash in your pocket. Or would you rather have a lower monthly payment because that's the budget that you live in, right? I can afford $1,500 a month, not $2,000 a month, but I've got 30 grand saved up. Those are all things: home inspection, loan type, settlement date, all stuff to talk about with your agent, and they all translate into putting your best offer out.
Gotcha.
That made sense?
I think it made sense. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
See you tomorrow.
That's a win.
More education.